Well, Fuddy McFudface has decided to attack the crypto sector once again. My name is Kyle, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at Theta, Tfuel, and we'll check out the price action of Bitcoin as well. We know that when Bitcoin decides to correct, that it can take the rest of the alt sector with it, so it's always good to keep that on our radars. I'm not going to get into too much about what the FUD is, as most people are aware that it's taxed. It's tax's Biden proposal. No, it's Biden's tax proposal on the capital gains affecting the wealthy investors. I remind myself that this is merely just a proposal at this point in time, and it's not even a thing. If it becomes a thing, then we'll see how the institutions decide to react to that, and it'll become very obvious what their decisions are within the price action. So all we can really do as mere mortals is watch how that drama unfolds. Let's get into the video. And starting off on Coinbase, look at the 24-hour line chart, and we see that Theta is down 9% on the day. Was drifting sideways there for a little bit, and now a little bit more of some droopy price action here. But on the day, it does seem to be trying to establish a bottom somewhere down around the $8.53 mark. But we'll pull this up in TradingView and take a closer look at that later in this video. The 24-hour volume is 432 million, and the market cap is now down to 8.7 billion. And on CoinMarketCap, we see that Theta is now at rank number 18 and is currently trading at $8.76. And quickly popping into ThetaToken.org, we see that the Theta Mainnet Launch 3.0, introducing Tfuel staking and uptime mining, is now in 66 days and 23 hours. And tomorrow, April 25th, 2021, Theta Network World Poker Tour Cash Game Part 2. More than 140 million World Poker Tour viewers globally will be able to participate in real-time NFT drops and auctions during live television and cable broadcast. Always good to get something in front of a lot of eyeballs like that, because when this market turns around, Theta is likely going to be catching a bid with the rest of the market. And the more awareness of what Theta is and what's going on, well, the more potential that people may want to invest in it. And here we have Theta up on the 4-hour chart in TradingView. And in my last analysis, we were looking at this pennant formation as likely to resolve itself to the downside, as they typically are continuation patterns in the direction of price. We see dumping McDumpface, dump price action to the downside, sticking in a pivot point on the market here, but did take out this pivot point over here. So it broke structure, change of behavior between buyers and sellers on the short-term time frames, and then sideways consolidation here. When this pennant formation got about 70% full to the apex, it resolved itself to the downside. Now, a quick tip for those of you that may not be aware of this, that pennant formations, as well as ascending triangles and descending triangles, become statistically probable to resolve themselves around the 70% full to the apex and beyond. That's when it becomes more probable. Does that have to happen like a crystal ball? Absolutely not. It just puts it on our radar that, hey, this could resolve itself sometime very soon. Now, we already know that this comes off the back of FUD and Bitcoin playing out a greater correction, but to see the correlation between the structure of price with that, well, it comes as no surprise that this decided to break to the downside. So everything is pretty much in harmony, in concert with each other right now. Now, I do see that Theta came down and hit the bottom side of that liquid zone, which was my ultimate target, coming in around that $7.35 mark, and a massive bounce was found, and this does not surprise me. These are the areas on a chart where these giant bounces can be found in these liquid zones, and same with steep rejections up above here. And it's the very reason why I try to identify these areas on my chart and why I plot them in, because I know there's a major probability that there's going to be this kind of price action found in those areas. Is it a crystal ball? Absolutely not, but it is a statistical advantage over the market, and this is exactly why. Now, we do see Theta rolling over today and giving a lot of this bounce back, so that right away is a sign to me that there's still some very much sell pressure. Like, this is still droopy and under pressure here. Now, at the time of recording, it looks like this daily candle would like to come down and test that 89, coming in at $8.10. So if it does do that, it'll be very interesting to see how price action interacts with that level there. Again, I think this is going to have a lot to do with any more FUD coming into the market and depending on what Bitcoin decides to do. Anything between these two purple boxes, so this one here and this one here, I still just view as overall sideways consolidation and an overall greater macro uptrend. I actually view these as very, very healthy for the market. As I've been in this space a long time, I've been through bull cycles, bear cycles, and corrections and cool-off points in the market are very healthy if you're looking at the long-term trajectory of this. Now, of course, this is very sucky for anybody that bought in around these levels here or unfortunately got in on one of these wicks, as you see your position very, very much underwater, and that is not much fun whatsoever. For anyone that's been following along with my videos knows I've been covering Theta way back in these areas here. In fact, there might even be some of you here that remember me from another YouTube channel where I was covering Theta around 44 cents. So anybody that was buying down at those levels, we're not feeling the heat the same way here. And any of these daily candle bodies closing above the top side of this liquid zone here is overall just a greater correction and perhaps a buy the dip opportunity. Only you can decide that for yourself, as this is not financial advice. And of course, we're going to have to keep our eyes on Bitcoin because Bitcoin can ruin parties. Coming down here to the RSI, it is getting into the bearish control zone, suggesting that there's still quite a bit of sell pressure present here, and we were seeing that in price structure first, and we see the stochastics nosediving as well, and we do see the fast line getting through the zero read of the y-axis on the MACD as we get another pretty bad bar of negative momentum here, but there are no actionable signals there. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on this price structure and see if it can base along this liquid zone here. That would overall look really, really good. If we get a daily candle body closure below the bottom side of that liquid zone, coming in around that $7.35 mark, that's when things get a little bit more dicey for Theta. Is that a death sentence? Absolutely not, because I remind myself that regardless of all the FUD and Bitcoin pulling back does not change the fundamentals of what Theta is. It doesn't change the fact that it has a working product, doesn't change the fact that they're pulling for patents, that they have clear intentions to try to be here for the long term and disrupt the video streaming platforms. So with that all in mind, I always center myself on that and remind myself that, hey, this hasn't changed any of those kinds of things. Now, if it did, we'd have a different story on our hands here. But let's take a quick look at Bitcoin here, because Bitcoin is going to be a very much deciding factor in a lot of this. Now, Bitcoin right now, if it chooses to play out a nastier correction than we've already seen, it could very much come down and test this 21 exponential, which is coming in around 44,300. So somewhere between 40,300, 40,500 area. It could come down and test that 21. And the reason why I say that is simple. When I look left over here in the last bull market, we see that Bitcoin in its nastier corrections did come down and play off the 21. You see it on candle body closures here. If I go back a little further in time, you can see it basing off of the 21 here. You can see a little wick right here. And this is in the context of an uptrend. So higher highs and higher lows along the way. The nastier corrections come in. Bitcoin loves that 21. Wick right here. And then we see the parabolic blow off top of Bitcoin that comes over multiple weeks to follow that. And in this current bull cycle, we haven't even so much as seen a test of the 21. And of course, that's going to be very scary for any newcomers to the space. I'm sure everyone will be screaming bloody murder. I'm quite confident that the alt sector would be absolutely getting shish kebabbed if and only if Bitcoin decides to play that out. This right now is just a simple pullback. If it wants to correct down to that 21, we could see Bitcoin come as low as 44K. And I'll tell you what, I have some resting buy orders sitting down there. I'm very happy to buy Bitcoin around that level, because I know, historically speaking, and I know price action doesn't have to absolutely, just because it happened in the past, it's for sure going to happen in the future. No, but I do look for price action to rhyme with itself. And I do like to play the statistics. I like to have that statistical advantage over the market. And that's what Bitcoin's historic price action is suggesting to me. What's more is that I can manage my risk there. So if my buy orders fill down there, but we get a weekly candle body closure below that 21, that's a pretty probable indication to me that my position's incorrect, that maybe I should not be holding that position and maybe close it, let the market sort itself out before making any new decisions. However, if it wicks off that 21, like we've seen in the past several times, and then the bull market continues, well, then I know I just bought the dip, the actual dip. And then of course, if Bitcoin does that and reverses off of there, well, the alt sector will over time catch a major bid from that, especially the good alts with working products like Theta. So we're going to have to keep our eyeballs on this to see what Bitcoin decides to do. Let's see here. What else can we look at? Let's go to a daily here. Let's go back. Actually, let's go over to Tfuel and check things out here. So Tfuel, last time I covered this, was on this candle here. We were hoping that was going to get back up above this liquid zone that has top side coming in around that 31.5 cent mark. Instead, it got rejected. Then we got the daily candle body closure below the bottom side of that liquid zone, and then continuation was the name of the game. So from the lens of a trader and from price action, without knowing any of the FUD and that kind of stuff, that would have been the clue that continuation was likely probable. And I'm interested to see if this hit the 21 on the weekly here. Let's have a look. And sure enough, it did. So price action came right down, stabbing that 21. 21 is around 19 cents, got a little bit down below that, but massive bounce was found so far and in progress. This weekly candle will be closing in about 1 day, so it'll be interesting to see how that closes. I would love to see this close above that 10 simple moving average, but that might be a tall order at this time. Tfuel's also had a very glorious run here, got very, very much overextended, so no surprise that it's getting its ass handed to it a lot harder than some of the other altcoins because Bitcoin decided to take a dump off that FUD. Just par for the course here. So on a daily time frame here, I'd like to see Tfuel work its way back up into to the top side of this liquid zone. Getting a daily candle body closure above that 31.5 cent mark would be a very, very positive sign. That would get it back above the 55, 10, and likely the 21 if and when that time comes. I don't care if it takes a few days or a week to do that. Whenever it does that, it does that. Right now, it's basing off the 89 exponential. So at the very least, I'd like to see it hold 89 on candle body closures. And if it can grind its way sideways along here while the rest of the market holds its breath and makes a decision, well, then overall, this would look okay to me. But it is a bit more dicey here. I mean, this chart doesn't look as good as Theta's at this point in time. But if Theta goes back into bull mode with the rest of the market, if that's what the rest of the market does, well, Tfuel's naturally going to catch a bid from that anyways. So anyways, you guys, that is a quick price update for you. Hope you're all doing well out there. Hope this isn't beating you up too much. Remember, it's just FUD rate now. I mean, Biden's tax proposal is merely a proposal. We'll have to see that get passed first and foremost. Then the second thing we'd have to do is we're going to have to watch as the institutions make their decisions, because this is going to affect them more than us mere mortals. And they will decide, and it'll be very obvious within the price action what their decision is. But as far as I'm concerned right now, it is just FUD because it's just a proposal. And the market's very squeamish and very skittish of these kinds of things. And well, we're seeing it show up in the price action here. So right now, it's just a proposal. If the proposal if it becomes a thing, then we're going to look and see how the whales handle that, and then we're going to make our decisions based off of that. So let's see what happens when the new trading week opens. Until then, everyone, just simply have yourselves a powerful day.